we will be conducting investigations into the following: the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and Dr. Martin Luther King, unidentified aerial phenomena, also known as UAPs, unidentified submerged objects, also known as USOs, the Epstein client list, the origins of COVID-19, and the 9/11 files.
What's going on, YouTube? It's your host, Bruce GNT, back with another video. This one's going to be about a task force that they decided to create to deal with the declassification of information regarding our government. So the assassination with, RFK, MLK, and JFK, and some other ones as well that I'm really interested in. And I'm kind of interested to see how this plays out, because my main concerns, or I wouldn't even say concerns, my main thoughts on this is that what if within this committee they were able to find something that paints the U.S. government in a negative light? Are they going to declassify? Are they going to let people know? That's the questions that I have. But we're going to jump into this. I'm not going to go through the whole video. I'm just going to have them, pretty much talk about what they're going to go over and what they're going to look into, and then go from there.
Thank you all for being here. Today is a great day for transparency in America, because today I'm proud to announce the creation of the Task Force on the Declassification of Federal Secrets. This task force will be a part of the House Oversight Committee and led by the very talented and persistent Congresswoman from Florida, Anna Paulina Luna. During her time on the Oversight Committee, Representative Luna is a sledgehammer against government secrecy. She is committed to throwing open the windows for the American people to allow the sunlight of truth shine on the federal government. I can think of no better person in Congress to lead this task force than Representative Luna. Last month, President Trump signed an executive order to begin the process to declassify information on the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and MLK. This task force serves to build on President Trump's actions. For far too long, the American people have had reasonable questions of what their government, which they fund every day, keeps hidden about certain issues. And for far too long, the federal government has not answered these questions. This creates distrust in our institutions. That ends today. The voters of this nation delivered a historic mandate to President Trump on November 5th. The keystone of that mandate was demanding increased transparency of their government and elected leaders, and the mandate of this task force is to acquire that transparency. We will open this up for questions from the media, but first I'd like to hand it over to my esteemed colleague and chairman of the new task force, Congresswoman Luna, for her remarks.
Thank you, Chairman Comer. When our founding fathers stood against tyranny, they did not merely oppose taxes. They defended the sacred idea of individual sovereignty. They declared that no government, agency, or title could infringe upon the freedoms of speech, religion, thought, and the pursuit of truth. For too long, the American spirit has been dimmed by a veil of secrecy, by a government that has grown too comfortable in the shadows, denying us the transparency we deserve. But today, we stand at the dawn of a new era where the light of truth begins to shine through. A few weeks ago, President Donald Trump made a historic announcement. With the stroke of a pen, he committed to declassifying the files concerning the assassinations of President John F. Kennedy, Robert F. Kennedy, and Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., a decision not just monumental, but pivotal. It is with profound honor that I have been entrusted by Speaker Mike Johnson and Chairman James Comer to lead the House Oversight Task Force on Declassification of Federal Secrets. Together with the help of the White House, our intelligence allies, the Department of Defense, the Department of Justice, we will be conducting investigations into the following: the assassinations of JFK, RFK, and Dr. Martin Luther King, unidentified aerial phenomena, also known as UAPs, unidentified submerged objects, also known as USOs, the Epstein client list, the origins of COVID-19, and the 9/11 files.
I could definitely get behind this. First of all, I'm all about transparency. I'm all about letting the people know what's going on in their own backyard. That just makes the most sense to me. I don't see how anyone could be against that. Some of you guys are enemies of knowledge. I ain't gonna lie. There's no way that I'm gonna get this proposal and I'm just gonna be like, nah, I don't want to know. Why would I not want to know? The UAPs. That's gonna be interesting. And I don't want no fuzzy photo like it was taken on a goddamn Motorola Razr. No. No. This is 2025. We have iPhones. I want like hardcore legit proof showing that there's maybe life out there, that we're not alone, that what's going on below our oceans, if there's anything that we need to know about, which I'm pretty sure there probably is. Personally, that's just how I feel. Now, when it comes to the Epstein case files, that will be interesting because there's a lot of conjecture about who he had in his pocket, who he was rocking with, who was going to that island. So I'm heavily interested and invested to see if they're really going to declassify that and let it be known. Hey, look, some of you stars, celebrities, even politicians out here moving dirty. So, and I don't want it to be no mess where it's like, oh, they've been to the island, but it's like, no, I want the hardcore truth, the facts. That's what I want to know. And the 9/11 files, yeah. That one's important as well. Sorry to just say it after like the Epstein one like that, but no, all of it's important. All of it is need to know by the public, I personally feel like. And yeah, especially when it comes to certain things that is going to incriminate the government or the people that we put in charge to govern us. Yeah, definitely things that we need to know. But let's let it continue.
This task force will be a beacon of bipartisanship. On the Republican side, Representatives Burchett, Boebert, Burleson, Crane, Gill, and Mace will be joining me, although I'd like to note that I'm expanding this to the entire governing body and will be allowing certain members to waive on. Our first hearing is set for March. The date will be announced soon, and we've already initiated close to a dozen communications with various agencies, to include Pam Bondi at the Department of Justice and the Secretary of State. This will no longer be a task force that makes bold promises only to fade into irrelevance or send strongly worded letters. This will be a relentless pursuit of truth and transparency, and we will not stop until the American people have the answers they deserve. We will cut through the bureaucracy, challenge the stonewalling, and ensure that the American people finally get the truth that they have been denied for too long. If we are to endure and thrive as a nation, we must restore trust through transparency. The American people must be trusted to think for themselves, to form their own judgments from the truth that they are entitled to know. We've been treated like children for too long and kept in the dark by those we elected to serve us. It is my solemn duty to begin mending this trust, to form a new relationship between the government and the governed. Let us embark on this journey together towards a government that does not serve, but one that enlightens. That does not just serve, but one that enlightens. Trust through transparency, that begins now. Without further ado, we'd like to open it up for questions, as I'm sure many of you have those.
Tell me your thoughts about this. Like, how do you feel about them declassifying all this information? And we have to hold them to this when it comes to them saying, hey, look, this isn't just going to fade into obscurity to where we're just going to forget about it in a few months. No, I'm going to be keeping up with this because, yeah, this is going to be some new developments. Also, question, because a lot of people have been using this term. They're saying that this is the golden age of America, the golden age of the U.S. How you feel about that? Me, too early to tell. It's possible. I need more proof. I need more time. I don't want to jump off and be like, oh, the golden age. Hold up. All that glitters is not gold. Trust me. So I'm really interested to see this whole development. Yeah. Oh, yeah. We thought 2024 was the year of like revealing. I think 2025 is going to be that. It's going to be just like that, maybe even more.
Hands up.
Thank you, Nancy. Obviously, your goals are aligned with the administration's on the declassification of Martin Luther King and the Kennedys. How would you handle if you end up, whether it's President Trump or Attorney General Bondi or DNI Gabbard, if they disagree with what you're looking to declassify on a certain topic, whether it's UAPs or 9/11 or something like that? How would you handle if there's some stuff that they don't necessarily want to declassify?
Well, certainly, I think that they'd be supportive, being that they're advocating for this. But also, I want to remind the American people that this is bipartisan. There's also Democrats that are looking into answering these very questions. But certainly, we would share that information with the American people. This is about transparency. And I think, again, as I stated, for far too long, there's been a massive push to keep the American people in the dark, and that ends today.
Do you have subpoena power?
Chairman?
The task force does not have subpoena power. I do. The task force is going to be subsidiary of the full oversight committee. So if we have to issue one, Congresswoman Luna, we'll discuss it and we'll take appropriate action.
But in full transparency, we have a great working relationship, as I stated earlier, with the White House, with the DOJ, with the Secretary of Defense, and the Secretary of State. The incoming FBI director, I think, will be very supportive, and we've also been told that the CIA director is very supportive. To put it in perspective, I think that this issue transcends not just one administration, but multiple administrations, and it hasn't been until now that we've been able to get people actually in positions of power that will push for transparency. Now, if I find that different entities in the various intelligence agencies are stonewalling us, I'm going to make that known to the American people. But as of right now, we are cautiously optimistic.
In other words, she's gonna start snitching. FBI giving us some trouble? Yeah, start snitching. Damn right. Good. Hold their feet to the fire.
Our first investigation will be announced, but it's going to be covering on a thorough investigation into the John F. Kennedy assassination. And I can tell you, based on what I've been seeing so far, the initial hearing that was actually held here in Congress was actually faulty in the single bullet theory. I believe that there were two shooters, and we should be finding more information as we are able to gain access into the SCIF, hopefully before the files are actually released to the public.
Thank you for doing this. Have you identified the Democrats who will sit on the task force, and could you talk a little bit more about the role of Democrats in this?
Yeah, so again, this is a bipartisan commission. Remember, JFK was a Democrat, RFK was a Democrat, and I'm sure that I think the entire conference has a question on what actually happened with Dr. Martin Luther King, but also UAPs. You guys know that that was the biggest bipartisan bicameral hearing that we've ever had, I think, in congressional history. I do not know who their members are yet. They've noticed it, but they're taking this very seriously. This is not a conspiracy theory investigating committee. We're actually looking to present truth to the American people. And it's in my opinion that no one person elected to office is more important or more qualified to look at the information that they've been hiding from us. And so we look to push for that transparency.
What sort of witnesses will you expect to have at your hearings? I know you said the first one's in March. Would that be department heads, former employees of various agencies?
Would you like to jump in?
Go ahead.
Yeah, I was going to say, based on what we're actually looking to do with the JFK investigation, I'm looking to actually bring in some of the attending physicians at the initial assassination, and then also people that had been on the various commissions looking into, like the Warren Commission looking into the initial assassinations. There's been conflicting evidence, and I think that even the FBI at the time reported some anomalies in the initial autopsy at Bethesda, Maryland. All of those, though, seem to have been rinsed and repeated in the media to push a certain narrative that we don't agree with. And so I think that in order to put to bed some of the theories that have been out there on John F. Kennedy, we have to know the full truth. And the full truth starts with transparency. And that's why these files is so important for the American people to read for themselves.
With this task force, what are you hoping to uncover as far as UAPs that you have not already heard from other UAP hearings?
The biggest information problems that we've had with UAPs is the amount of stonewalling, stovepiping, and also it seems that there is this push to gaslight the American people into looking at the evidence and then not fully believing it. I think for us, if we're writing the budget, for example, into the Pentagon, if we're writing the budget overall for whatever programs might be out there, why is it that members of Congress who are given a top secret security clearance are being denied access? That's not a free and true government. And so for us, especially being that we have now a Secretary of State who's actually open to declassification and Marco Rubio, we're hoping to present that information and at least acknowledge it from a government perspective that we are not alone, but also let's see what the evidence is.
Yeah, that's pretty much all I'm going to go over for right now. I'm going to keep up with this because, like I said, this is going to be, if they really truly follow through with this, which like I like to say, I take people at face value and I like to say, you know what, that's what they said they're going to do. I'm going to hold them to that until they show otherwise. So if they keep up with it, this is going to be something that's going to be very interesting. You know, the RFK, the JFK, and MLK files of their assassination. Yeah, people have been wanting all three of those individuals for a while, especially MLK. Yeah, I remember growing up, I was always told, obviously he was shot, but then I remember hearing something else about how he was smothered at the hospital. So it wasn't like he died from the gunshot wound. That's what I heard. Whether or not it's valid or not, I'm not too sure. Don't come after me. Allegedly, that's what I've heard throughout the course of my life. But it would be really nice to figure out what happened there. Now, when it comes to, obviously, the Epstein files, yeah. Oh yeah. We want to know. We the people want to know. We deserve to know. And she better snitch when people start stonewalling her saying, no, you can't figure it out. Hell no. We want to know. Also, with the UAPs, I don't know. That one's interesting because you know how you hear something, you think to yourself, okay, this can't be real. This can't be like a thing. But let's just say they declassify and they find out, yeah, no, we have been visited. We've been, outside sources from another planet or whatever have you have contacted us and we just haven't noticed. I'm interested to see what is that going to do to American people, and then once that information kind of like disseminates between American people, and obviously the rest of the world's going to find out because we can't keep our mouth shut, and we damn sure shouldn't. How is that going to work? How are people going to handle that? Like, that's really going to rock the minds of a lot of people if they find something. If they find nothing, yeah, normal day as usual. I could get behind this. I see no issue with this. I saw no issue with it when I saw the executive orders to declassify the assassination of those 3 individuals. So yeah, I could definitely get behind this. I see no issue with it. Tell me what you're most excited to hear about, because I know what I am. Honestly, believe it or not, is the UAPs. Well, MLK assassination. Well, the assassinations, and then the UAPs, and then the Epstein list and everything like that, in that order. I'll just have to wait, and I'll do a video when they talk about it, but that's what I'm most interested to hear about. Those 3 things first and foremost. After that, cool. But yeah, leave a like, comment down below your innermost thoughts, what you want to see, what you want to hear about, and whether or not, you know what, tell me whether or not you think this is all bullcrap, this is all performative, because part of me thinks it is a little bit. So we'll just have to wait and see. And subscribe if you want more. There will be more. Peace.